This is an audio commentary for the first installment of the Art of Holy series, presented by skillcap.com, your source for the best instructional arena videos. Before I begin with the actual commentary, I would like to quickly respond to the feedback that I've received so far. I think, trolls aside, most of the feedback was generally constructive. The user interface was definitely the main reason why the movie wasn't better received, so that's something I'll be working hard on. On the positive end, the movie was well received by viewers who saw it for its gameplay, and I'll be elaborating on that shortly. First of all, I would like to explain why I think Resto Shamans are doing better than other healers at this point in time. Fundamentally speaking, all 4 healer archetypes have a specific niche. Not only do these niche characteristics determine how well the class performs in relation to the flavor of the month, they also determine the entire metagame. Basically what I'm trying to say is Resto Shamans as a healing archetype are not more overpowered than priests and paladins per se, but they are just relatively more effective right now because of the preeminence of wizards. Secondly, I think historically speaking, paladins and priests have had a niche in terms of synergizing with many classes due to their superior utility. Now, the fact is, shamans right now provide equal if not more utility than those 2 classes. This is not to say that Holy Paladins are obsolete as a healing class. I think Holy Paladins have incredible mobility and burst healing potential, and this makes them the best healer against melee cleaves. Paladins, however, face a huge problem, and that is their inability to cope with sustained CC trains. This is exacerbated by the fact that they do not have any form of hot or reliable absorbs, such as PWS and Earth Shield. What this actually means is that a Paladin's team has to go defensive as quickly as possible the moment the Paladin takes the CC. This reaction means that pressure drops in favor of the opposing team anytime a Holy Paladin gets CC. And it just so happens that mages and warlocks excel at CC trains. While in truth, most class combinations can easily establish a brutal CC chain, and that is why hunters with bad manners, pharaohs and well-played healers can snuff out a paladin healer easily. In game 1, we face a kitty cleave that uses a rogue and priest synergy. We knock the rogue out of stealth with D&D and he gouges me to root me in place. The priest comes in for a fear but is polled, and at this point in time all I'm thinking is I have to get away from the priest. So I use my sprint, I use Divine Illumination to strengthen my heals, and my DK actually drops low. He takes a kidney shot and has to IBF, gets smoked. The druid cleverly opts to cyclone me, and I trinket it, and got a bop off nanoseconds before the bash. The priest tried to follow up the fear, but my mage actually blankets him. At this point we have weathered the storm, so we intend to kickstart pressure. The rogue actually got a re-stealth, and my mage uses a ring. I actually put a denounce on the priest because there's not much damage being put out. I take a random blind, so I call for an Unholy Frenzy. He breaks the blind and I put Sacrifice, which breaks a set. At this point in time my DK takes immense damage, so I have to use Guardian. But at the same time the priest drops kinda low and he gets some peels, but as you can soon tell he will take a deep, and he actually uses a really good PS, putting in so much damage into him that his team has to continuously peel, which puts their pressure behind. The priest still wants to fear me, but I sprint away again. The rogue actually steps to my mage, which to me means that they're trying to switch to the mage, but it doesn't really help them because the mage just puts slow debuffs which they cannot really afford to dispel. At this point in time all we're doing is just continue to train the priest, and we're pretty nonchalant to the fact that my mage is getting trained and get a slow dispel on that fear. But nonetheless, the priest is forced to use a barrier and he gets interrupted into a deep freeze and he drops dangerously low. The druid actually comes out of cat form to heal him, but I get an interrupt on the regrowth, and the rogue is similarly peeling for the priest, and the druid actually gets a re-stealth here after he comes out of a hodge. He opens on my DK who gets feared at the same time, and this basically means that I can go into melee range to interrupt the priest. The priest also gets pet stunned, which puts them even more behind, and the druid here gets a full tranquility which we can't interrupt. And I actually use the Hammer of Wrath on the priest and interrupt the cyclone. The priest right now is just completely out of cooldowns, and we just dump all our cooldowns to kill the priest. Basically, this game is interesting simply because we managed to maintain the pressure from start to end, and the fact that I never actually got feared once, even though the priest was trying the entire time. For the full audio commentary, visit skillcapped.com.